So, what's up, guys? Arid Lord is back. Welcome back to a somewhat more normal vlog from just doing it on my freaking iPhone. We actually have all of the tiles set up. This is my usual XSplit layout. Because this Sunday, and I've announced this in past review vlogs, but this Sunday I will be doing a reaction video to the final episode of The Walking Dead. It'll be in this little box in the upper right hand corner where we have the cool artwork for that. I think that's fan artwork. The fire with the final episodes, which is pretty badass. Actually, like I prefer the fan one more than the normal one. Like it's just like the colors pop a lot more. You know, I know you're trying to get like a dystopian vibe from this one, but anyway, not to veer too much off topic. That was the first thing I just wanted to announce. That's how I got my start with The Walking Dead. When I was in college doing reaction videos. It really peaked in my YouTube channel in season 6, and then I did them for season 7 and 8. Sometimes did them for season 9. I sometimes did them for season 10, and I really didn't do them at all for season 11. So I'll at least have a reaction video for one. I'll get a reaction video in for at least, each season since I've started watching the show, which is great. So I'm looking forward to it. I am. Of course, it's sad that this is all coming to an end. I feel like we were just getting ramped up, and I've already voiced in previous review vlogs for the episodes so far that I feel like we're not even getting started. I feel like we're still just scratching the surface, that there's still so much more to dive into. And then I'm kind of upset that this is all just wrapping up like this. I don't want to go through all the ways because the title and the purpose of this video is actually something a lot more nostalgic than just talking about the past couple of weeks. But yeah, I hope it's satisfying, and I hope that everything makes sense. That we get our lead into the spin-off series. That there's some type of mention of the CRM. Or maybe even Rick. I know it's a long shot, but I mean, he's your main guy. I mean, he's the guy that started this whole journey. If you're not ending the series with some scene, maybe a bonus scene, keep in mind we had the Edwin Jenner scene. For those of you who didn't see World Beyond, this is spoilers, but the final scene, there's a bonus scene at the end of World Beyond. It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with the characters, and it's arguably like the most interesting scene of the whole show because it's two scientists in Paris, and one scientist shoots the other, and she turns into this fast-moving walker. Meanwhile, she's looking at tapes from Dr. Edwin Jenner from the freaking first season of The Walking Dead, which is incredible. Now, that has nothing to do with anything in World Beyond. World Beyond is in America, deals with the CRM. We don't know if that French facility does deal with the CRM, but our Daryl spinoff series does happen in Paris, so I'm guessing that's why that scene is in there, as a way of teasing us into the Daryl spinoff. But it's just kind of silly that, we got that kind of scene. It didn't have much context. So I'm thinking that we're going to get also like a bonus scene at the end of The Walking Dead, and that there's going to be something about Rick or the CRM. That's my guess. It has to be either that, or one of our main characters is going to transition. Like maybe Daryl will be captured, because Norman Reedus said in an interview that he gets shipped off to Paris somehow against his will. So how does that happen? There's really only one group I can think of that has the capabilities of sending a dude across the freaking Atlantic Ocean, and that's the CRM. They're the only ones who have air transportation as far as we're aware of. As far as, like, we've never seen the Commonwealth with any type of air advantage. They've got vehicles, gas powered, and a pretty large society, but we know the CR is much bigger. So anyway, That's just some stuff that's coming up, and again, I will be doing that reaction video. So, so the purpose of this video, to get into it as I prepare myself here, a little water to get us going, but the purpose of this video is to talk about what The Walking Dead means to me. Just because, as I just said, we're concluding doing anything Walking Dead. Now, again, I'm talking the main show because, again, I've said this as well in my recent vlogs that I really don't feel like the show is ending because you have spin-offs with 5 of our main characters. You know, you got Michonne and Rick, you got Negan and Maggie, and you got Daryl. And, you know, who's to say that other characters from The Walking Dead who survive this finale, that they don't make an appearance in any one of those spin-off shows? You know, that's a distinct possibility, especially if it's an actor who wants to continue being in the universe. I can understand if some of those actors are just burnt out and want to just be done with the show, but if you get some who, like, enjoy it and they're you know, they go to Scott Gimple or Greg Nicotero, like, hey, like, how, you know, can I get in on the continuation of the series? You know, I'm sure they would find a way to get them in. So the Walking Dead universe is continuing, and really, this is just like, I don't know, a part, like a conclusion. In a way, it almost feels like season 8 when the Savior arc concluded. Some people were like, it kind of felt almost like a mini series finale because you had Carl dying and Negan captured. Like, you almost could have, like, wrapped up the series right then and there. Now we know there's more stuff in the comics that happens after, but you really could have just, like, everything got, like, wrapped up. Everything was wrapped up in a bow. Like, most characters, if not all, had some type of conclusion. So, you know, they could have taken out the scenes when Daryl and Maggie are plotting, and then you could have just had, like, almost like a complete series finale. So in some ways, the series, the actual series finale of the show, feels like a larger version of what that season 8 ending was. Because not only that, you had Scott Gimple stepping down as showrunner, and Angela Kang took on season 9 afterwards. So it really did feel like a new era for The Walking Dead. Now the main show is ending, and we have the story continuing. So that's the thing, like, the show's not ending, it's continuing. But it's fragmented across these other shows that we have to, like, piece it together. However, like, I don't know when they're going to air it. Like, are they going to air it together? Like, one is in the spring, one is in the summer, one's in the fall. Like, are they going to do it different seasons? I don't really know. Some have started filming, like, they're already filming the Negan and Maggie one. I've seen some footage online of them filming that. Other shows they haven't. Obviously, the Rick one, which, you know, whenever the heck that does actually get filmed, I'll be shocked. So yeah, there's not, I guess, as much sadness here because there's a lot of Walking Dead content to get excited about in 2023, and that's actually why I've decided to not, like, stop doing things on the channel so long as I have the free time, you know, because I continue to get busier in my life. Like, as you notice, like, this is a different location. When I did the freaking series finale of Better Call Saul, that was a different location. You know, like, where I'm doing these vlogs, like, they're all, like, you know, you've probably noticed just this year, like, I've just been in lots of different locations, and I got a lot of private stuff going on in my life that has nothing to do with the channel, and I still like making these vlogs from time to time, so I come back to do that and engage with you guys. And so I guess that's where The Walking Dead, you know, I kind of go back to the beginning when I think about this, because I started watching The Walking Dead my freshman year of college, which was fall of 2013. Now, The Walking Dead had just concluded. It was the mid-season break. It was after the governor invades the prison. And so there was this, you know, the governor had just died, and there was this big wait for how all of the, this was when all of the survivors were fragmented. I think this was like the beginning of the bottle episode storytelling that some people started to hate. And so all of the characters were, you know, off separated and going off in their own directions, and there were different things happening. That's when I started doing it, and I think my first ever like video for The Walking Dead was a review of episode 9 of season 4. And I started doing these with my friend Jack, who was my college roommate and also one of my very good friends. And we would just do like a picture format. Like there would be multiple pictures from the episode, and we'd talk about it. And we did that for the rest of season 4. And then season 5, we continued that. But the season 5 finale, we actually did a reaction video. And this is where the first reaction video started. And it was a much larger group. I think I had like 5 or 6 friends who joined in. And then this became like a constant theme, because then we got into season 6. And there were more people involved. There was the stretch of time, like the back half of season 6, where my friend from college, Will, was involved in that stretch of season 6 that led up to Negan's reveal. And then I was in my senior year of college for season 7, and I was still doing it with a variety of people. And then I graduated and was living with some of those friends, not too far from my campus, but we all, got jobs and were living together. But we were still doing the reaction vlogs together. I kept that group together. I kept doing all of that stuff. So that's like the quick history. Now, in between all of those reaction videos, I've made my own individual vlogs, prediction videos, reviews, what if scenarios. I remember I used to have that series. Like, I remember it was like, what if the Whisperers at full power fought the Saviors at full power? Like, there were all these like crazy scenarios that I would discuss. And this was back when the show, I made some of those vlogs back in season 9 when the show had that like mini resurgence, because people, were liking the stuff that Angela Kang was doing. It was a breath of fresh air, and so the show kind of got like a second wind of attention. Unfortunately, COVID ruined it. Like, I feel like once, you were getting to the last section of the Whisperers, like, I feel like COVID just kind of like people forgot the show came back, and there just hasn't been as much attention for season 11. And I almost wondered to myself, if COVID hadn't happened, would The Walking Dead be concluding this Sunday? Like, would they maybe have made more episodes? Or, because this wouldn't be season 11 if you think about it, because you would have the finale of season 10 would have aired in the spring of 2020. Then the summer of 2020, you would have done all of the filming for season 11. So season 11 really should have came out the fall of 2020. That's when season 11 should have came out, like when we were first going to get introduced to the Commonwealth and all of that stuff. And if that's the case, like, this would be season 12 right now. Like, this technically would have been season 12, but COVID delayed all of the filming. It delayed everything. So there was no way any of that could happen. And so that's a question that, we'll never answer, because, COVID screwed up more stuff than just, the filming schedule of The Walking Dead. But, it makes one wonder, if they had just been able to film and, all that stuff hadn't happened. But, for me, I think one thing that always stuck out to me about the show was just Rick Grimes' journey, which is why I was conflicted when he left the show, but I'm super excited about, his series with Michonne, with the CRM, and how that's all going to pan out. I don't know if that's just going to be 6 episodes. I hope it's more. I've seen that, it might just be a 6-episode limited run. Maybe they're extended. Maybe they're, like, longer movie length, something like that. I don't know. But I just hope that's a satisfying story. I hope that Gimple doesn't just wrap that up in 4 seconds, because I don't know if Andrew Lincoln was like, yeah, I'll do a couple more episodes, and then I'm just, like, never being Rick Grimes again. Like, I'm not sure if that was what he said. I'm not sure. He did go to San Diego Comic-Con last year to make the announcement with Denai Guerrero, who plays Michonne. So we'll see. But, Rick's journey was always interesting to me. Like, I loved the transformation of the character, and especially, I think the most profound moments of watching the show was in season 4, because, just with my life, like, I remember adjusting to college was a difficult transition, but for different reasons. Mainly because my high school years I was very isolated. I did that to myself, but there were also extraneous circumstances that contributed to that. So and like a lot of that's documented on my YouTube channel. Now I've made some of the videos from the past private, just because they're irrelevant and it doesn't serve a purpose at this point for them to be on YouTube anymore. But the I it's all the evidence is there on my channel, is what I'm saying, because I was doing so many video game playthroughs. It was ridiculous. 2011 and 2012, I was buying most of the new games that came out. I was doing full-length playthroughs. This even continued a little bit into 2013. I did the countdown to Grand Theft Auto. Like, this is all stuff that, I know. I'm the historian of my own channel, so I know this. It was just excessive, right? It was just too much online stuff. It was too much video game stuff. I wasn't exploring my life enough, which is one regret that I have now, all these years later. Now, I'm in such a different phase now, and I've got a lot of other things going on, so I don't think too much about those, deep-seated regrets. But that is something that's personal to me that I do think about, right? In the history of the channel, the thousands of videos that were before the Walking Dead content speak to that. So watching The Walking Dead, and that was really the pivot, because I still wanted to make vlogs. Like, I love being like an orator of media for you guys. Like, I love doing these types of videos, whether it's playing a video game or just engaging with the channel. Like, this has been, other than writing, which is my other huge passion, this has been another way for me to express myself. YouTube, whether it was the game stuff years ago, or it's the Walking Dead stuff now, which started in 2014 and has gone to this point. So I knew that I wasn't, like, pretty much the fall of 2013 solidified, because I played, GTA 5 came out, I played that, and that was kind of my breaking point. Like, I was like, okay, like, I'm playing too much of these video games. I'm like, the gaming stuff was just taking too much of my life at that point, Not to mention that was also crossing over with online friends that I only knew through online. So I had to then play these video games, and it was the only way I could talk to them and keep up those relationships, which at the time were like the most prominent friendships in my life. And being in college, I needed to be with college people. Like, thank God my roommate, Jack, was so adventurous. He allowed me to explore and do stuff and just be an explorer and learn to be a member of society. Like, learn to, just have like a diverse personality and a diverse background, and just explore the rich tapestries that, of life throughout a city and whatnot. And, because we were close to Boston at the time, and I was denying myself of that in high school, and college was like, the gates were finally opened, and so I needed a way to continue the channel while also still being, this new adventurous person that I was turning into. And so that's what The Walking Dead was, because I was intrigued by, the Andrew Lincoln's acting, first of all, which is just so amazing. It's a crime he's never gotten an Emmy. I don't know if it's because of how The Walking Dead is viewed by the critics, but that man's talent, I can name so many episodes throughout his 9-season run, 9.5, I guess, but just so many amazing, incredible scenes. Like the amount of things that he can convey with his face without saying a single word is nothing short of incredible, and that's probably one of the biggest joys. And I think that character and that acting kind of like brought me into the world, and like I almost felt like I was in this Walking Dead world, and the post-apocalyptic landscape was almost the old life that I had, like trying to overcome this isolating mentality, this isolating world that I was coming from, and trying to step into a new light. That's why when Rick goes through his character transformation at the end of season 4, it was happening towards the end of my freshman year, as I was starting to put all of these pieces together, like the episode where Rick, tears out the throat of the Claimers, and Rick profoundly changes into this character who's just like, never let your guard down. I don't take chances anymore. Like, he's just ruthless in adapting to what the world needs him to be. And I felt like I was, as Rick in the show was making that transformation, I felt like I was making that transition in my life. I felt like I was like, you know what? I need to do what's necessary for me to live my life. I need, if, maybe it's like a party or something that's outside of my comfort zone. Like, I need to do these things, even if, like, these things weren't what I liked in the past. I need to create new hobbies, do new things, because that is what's absolutely required of me to live in my world. And so it was this weird, like, coincidence and also alignment of, Rick adapting to his situation at the end of season 4 going into season 5, and me adapting to my situation in my life going into the rest of my college years. And, I followed that journey of Rick, just, the highs and lows, just, just different things that were going on. Now, obviously, again, like a fictional TV show in my own life, they're two totally different things. We're talking about a apocalyptic freaking world compared to just, our normal everyday society. Although the closest we got was COVID. So, but, I just, there was some comfort in that, right? The show that I was loving so much, it showed me that there is that possibility and that potential to make that change. And I think that was the most profound thing. So I wanted to pour myself into, learning about this world, dedicating it, to myself and making these vlogs and everything that went with that. And so, I think what The Walking Dead means to me is that I've extrapolated a lot of meaning out of it, and it was there for me when I was making some of my most profound, if not one of my to this day most profound transformations of my life, going from, kind of a very stubborn kid. It really was me going like a stubborn kid into an adult. It was a life transitioning point, and seeing a fictional character transitioning in a very different way. It was just it was a way for me to look in somewhat of a mirror. Maybe the mirror was a bit fractured and like tilted. And so it wasn't a complete reflection, but there was a little bit of that going on there. And so that's to me what the show means to me. And just the fact that it's been there, and Rick's story's still not over, like, we don't know, like, what's he going to do in the CRM? What the freaking, is he going to, now he's involved with essentially the biggest group that's ever existed in the show. And, is he going to join them, take them down? And so there's so much anticipation. And that's the thing, like, even though we have this last episode, the Rick's win or loss there, like, that's not going to be decided this Sunday. I still get, regardless, The Walking Dead is done. But, isn't that so weird? Like, that's almost like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones leaving Game of Thrones and doing a spin-off, like a different Game of Thrones show. Although I think, aren't they going to do something like that? I heard rumors that they might have a show about Jon up in the north with the wildlings, like after the events of Game of Thrones. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's essentially what it would be. Like, your biggest character leaving the show ends, and then that character has like another adventure. And it's like, well, like, I guess the show didn't really end because that character was such a central figure piece to the entire puzzle. And now he's off on a new adventure, so how can I really say that it concluded? You can't. So, anyway, before the video gets too long, I mean, that's in a nutshell what the show means to me. And, I will be sad not hearing that theme song. I imagine that the theme song for the spin-off shows is going to be different. the scheduling of when the episodes, because I loved the seasonality. You know, you got it in the fall, and then you get it in the spring. Like, I just loved the going back and forth, knowing that my falls, in addition to freaking football, are gonna have some extra enjoyment because I'm gonna be watching this show that I've just been watching for so many years, and it's just like clockwork. Like, oh, it's October, Walking Dead's back. It's just for years it's been like that. Like, oh, October, Walking Dead's back. Like, so now it's gonna feel so weird. Like, oh, like, again, we'll have the spin-offs, but I don't know what the schedule for that is going to be, So, of course, I'll adapt to it, but it's just going to be different, I don't know if it's going to be that same schedule, so. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what the show means to you. Were you going through stuff? I'm sure, again, I've seen a lot of people on Talking Dead and other places explain what the show has meant to them. Like, I've seen cancer survivors talk about Ezekiel's famous quote, "And yet I smile," that in the face of devastation, you still put a smile on your face and push forward. Like, I've seen a lot of people talk about that quote from King Ezekiel and what that's meant to them. Even in just the most recent episode, Ezekiel brings that quote up when he's talking to Negan. I reviewed that in my last review vlog last week. So, I know that there's a ton of characters, and that's the thing, there's a ton of characters in this show that have long passed, and so you could take meaning from any of those characters and convey what that's meant for your life, going all the way back to Herschel, Glenn, even like Shane and his strength and ruggedness. Like, just, you could go back to any point of the show and some of these characters that have been gone for a very, very long time. Yeah, like, it's a crazy thing for a show. You don't get to be a part of shows that are on for 12 years. And I was only on the journey from 2014 onward. So I came in like 3-4 years into the journey. Some people have been on this ride since the show first dropped in 2010. And it's crazy. I mean, they adapted the entire freaking comic book. I mean, the CRM stuff is new. That's the CRM's not in the comics. It's show based. So all of these stories with New York, Paris, all the stuff that these characters are doing, that's not in the comics at all. So this episode, The Rest in Peace, it's a nod to the comic book issue. And it is going to wrap us up completely. So, and that's amazing, like, for a show to do that. I know the Marvel movies are doing that in a sense. They're all the phases, the Marvel phases, that's covering a comic book stuff. But, those are juggernauts. Those are like the biggest that's like the biggest movie franchise ever at this point. And that you can't say the same of Walking Dead. It used to have a lot of success back in season 5 and 6, but it doesn't have that as much anymore. So, and they're still going, So that's just an incredible feat. And like I was going to say, I don't know if I'll ever be part of a show journey for that long. Maybe ever in my life. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's some show that'll come up that'll go on a longer run than The Walking Dead or try to match it. But I don't know if there'll ever be a show that has me just on this journey for this much time. It's just kind of unfathomable to think about. Like, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul come close, but that series is over as well. And so, it's almost sad. This year, AMC's two biggest series ending in the same year. It's crazy. It's just like in a new era. A lot of shows are ending that have been on these runs. You got the last season of Stranger Things, I think, next year. You got a lot of these shows that have just been, on their runs, and, they're coming to an end, and so there's going to be a new age and a new kind of, dawn of different types of shows and stuff that people are interested in. The Marvel Universe, they keep milking it, even though I was satisfied with Avengers Endgame being the end of it. They're still going. So, but yeah, in terms of The Walking Dead, it's amazing. Regardless of what you think of when the points where the show stumbled, it came out with a consistent project that, for the most part, the actors, like the talent, the effects, the gore, Greg Nicotero's team, everyone was bought in. I know the writing and some of Scott Gimple's dumb stuff seemed annoying, but I'd say overall, we got a really damn good product, and I think, we should feel satisfied by that. So, all right, guys. Yeah, again, let me know what you think in the comments. What does the show mean to you? I'll leave this up until my reaction video on Sunday. And then I'm planning on doing, after that, so we got 3 vlogs planned, So we got this one, we got the reaction video to the finale, and then I'm going to do like a discussion on the ending. Like, basically, and that'll probably be with Jeff, the Walking Dead World, who I've collaborated with before. We'll collaborate and just kind of discuss if we think there was a satisfying ending, if there's any teasers. We'll talk about what that means for the spin-offs. And then, my channel will probably take a little bit of a pause and a hiatus until maybe there's news about the spin-offs, or, the spin-offs start, and then I can start doing maybe reaction videos or just discussion videos, reviews about those. But, so this is also, I guess, kind of like a little pause for my channel as well when these episodes are done, because as you know, that's the main purpose of the channel now, is to talk Walking Dead. I don't really do video gaming stuff anymore. I play video games. Like, I just bought the new God of War Ragnarok. Maybe back in the day I would have done a playthrough of that, but in my spare time here and there, I just like to chip away at video games. It's just more of a small thing, and also I don't like to spend too much time playing them, because I know what a time suck it is. So I spent plenty of years of my life playing through multiple video games, and again, every now and then I do play them. Like, the 2 games I played recently that I bought way back in like September, August, was the Destroy All Humans 2 remaster and the Pac-Man 1 remaster. So just games I played as a kid. I just wanted to play the HD versions. And then before that, I think it was Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, which I beat. And that's, it's really been the only games of 2022 I've really indulged in. But again, you grow up and, things don't stay the same forever. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I can't wait for this Sunday. Only one more episode. It's ridiculous, but we need to reach this end point, and I'm hoping that it's really satisfying when it gets here. So thank you guys, and I'll see you then. Peace out.